Hello, commercial design class. Okay, we're going to start working on your logos, and what we're going to do with those logos, you had 50 drawings, then you narrowed it down to 5 good ones. I'm going to have you now narrow it to your 3 that you think are the best, and what you're going to do is bring those into Illustrator and finish them off with super clean, perfect, finished look, okay? Now, a couple things. First thing I did here is I opened up a new file, and I got a sheet of paper that's the regular size sheet of paper. Your logos are going to be roughly about this big on that sheet of paper. I don't want any little tiny ones. I also want something that's bigger than the sheet. So what you're going to do is this. I'm going to try to just cover things that you might do because I know everybody's logo is different, so I'm not going to be able to cover everything, but I think I'm going to get some of the main things that you're probably going to come up against, okay? First of all, once in a while this happens. My toolbar is gone, and this is how you reset your toolbar. So if you go up here, if I follow my mouse up to this little icon right there, okay, and it goes to it, and then you go to where it says Reset Essentials, your toolbar will show up, okay? Now, toolbar is over here. Now, a couple things that your toolbar does not have, and that's because it's a new, it is a new program. It's new to this year, and there's some things that you're going to need, so I'm going to need you to open that up. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to add some tools to your toolbar. So if you go to the toolbar and you click on these little dots right here, okay, there's extra tools here that you're going to want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this one that says Add Anchor Point. I'm going to bring that to here. I'm going to go Delete Anchor Point. I'm going to bring that to here. And then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to grab something called the Smooth tool and slow down to here. Now it looks like nothing happened. So now what you need to do is you need to go up to the top here, click on this little thing, and go to Advanced. And what it'll do is it'll add those tools that weren't previously there, okay? Now, there's some tools you're gonna use a lot. So I'll show you the tools I think you're gonna use the most. You're gonna use, there's a pencil tool here, the pencil and the smooth tool. So what I'm gonna do is if I go to this little thing and I'm holding the mouse down and I click on this little bar that has an arrow, I get a little mini menu right there, okay? Now I'm gonna use that one. There's also the pen tool up here. You're gonna use that one quite a bit too, okay? So you're gonna use the pencil tool, the pen tool, and its variations, and then you're gonna use the shape tool. The shape is that makes circles and squares. I like getting that out too, because you're probably gonna be using that. So there you go. So I got my 3 little separate toolbars out here. Now, next thing you're going to do is you're going to place your original logo on here that you drew, and then you're going to trace over the top of it. So all you're going to do is go to File, Place, go find it and place it, and like find it in your file and place it. Now I previously placed some on here, and here is, let's go cancel there. I previously placed, have to go to your Move tool here, your Selection tool. I previously placed this thing here, okay? And I'm gonna get this, let's say that I wanted to work on, let's say this one right here. Now I just got an idea. I'm gonna make this bigger so that it's about the size, and hold your Shift key down when you make it bigger. So that is about the size that that's gonna be right there, okay? Or let's say I wanna do this green thing that looks like it's a centipede. I'm gonna bring that over in the middle of my sheet of paper, okay? Now I'm gonna be tracing over the top of that, or I might trace over it, or I might just look at it. So it really depends on what you're doing. If you drew something really well, then you can trace it. But if you're thinking, you know what, I don't want to trace it, I want to make my new drawing better than that old one, so I'm just going to place it off to the side and use it as a reference picture, okay? Here's my Under Armour logo, and I'm going to put that off as a reference picture too. I placed this in here too, and that's just so I can show you how to do something like that. If I scroll down, I'm holding my space bar down, here's an H that I'm going to do something with. And then here is a big pyramid that I'm going to do something with as well. So I'm going to bring that up. And these are all just reference pictures. These are just pictures I have on my screen. Now you can trace over them if you really like them, or you can just draw them new. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this pyramid first. And I'm going to make the pyramid pretty big. I'm going to place it in the middle of my sheet of paper, about right there. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over here where it says Layers. And I'm going to go to this little thing, which is a little plus, and that's going to add a layer. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to lock my bottom layer and click on layer number 2, and I'm going to call that one Drawing of Pyramid. Okay? That way I know that my pyramid is on that layer. Okay, now, couple things. What I would do is I drew my pyramid with my hand, and the thing is with Illustrator, you can do so much better with a pen tool, making it really straight. So I'm zooming in a little bit here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pen tool right now. Now I'm on the layer that's on top of the pyramid. So I'm not actually drawing on the pyramid. And I'm going to make a triangle that fits perfectly over the top of this. Okay? So what I'm going to do is just take my pen tool, which is right here, and I'm going to click right there and then go to here. And now I know there's this gap here, but I want my pen to be really perfect. So I'm going to go all the way across here, and I'm going to go back to here. Okay. Now I just made a triangle. My triangle is solid black. I don't want it solid black. So open up your window, go to Swatches, and you've got this little menu here. You can see it shows that it's a solid black triangle. I want it to be hollow on the inside, but I want to see my outside line. So I'm going to make the line, let's say, red. And I want to make my line a little thicker. So if you go where it says Properties, you'll see this word Stroke over here. Go up here. It says Properties. Go to Stroke, and I'm going to increase the size of my stroke. So I have a fatter red line right now. And I just did that so I could see my pyramid a little bit better. Okay, now, a couple things. You might say, okay, there's one side of my pyramid, and maybe I want to draw the other side of my pyramid. So what I'm going to do now is take my, I'm going to go over here and take my pen tool again, and this time I'm going to click right there, and here, and there, and here. And I have a separate triangle now. It's hard to tell, but I have a separate little triangle here. I have to, I guess I only have a line. So I'd have a separate little area there. If I want to make that a complete line, I'd need to go to my pen tool, and I need to click right on that dot and go right back to this dot. There you go. And now I've got a separate triangle. So you can see that I'll be able to make that triangle right here. And if I go to my swatches here, I can make that triangle anything I want. So if I want it to be like this, and I want it to be kind of a darker orange, maybe I do it that way. Then maybe I click on this triangle and end up making that like more of a yellow, or maybe this color. And I think maybe this one I go a little darker orange, maybe like that. So you can kind of see how I'm starting to build my pyramid. Now, the pyramid also right now has got a red line on it. Now, eventually, I don't want a red line on it. So I could just go to where the line is, and I can go here and do this little, that little thing, and I can get rid of that line totally. But I'm going to do that later, okay? I'm going to leave the line on for now. So I just did Control-Z, and I go back to my line, okay? Now, this is a problem. I can't see through my pyramid right now, and I want to take that cutout out of it. So once again, I'm going to select this triangle and this triangle, and I'm going to make it the interior invisible so I can see through it, okay? Now I'm going to cut a section out of here. So another thing you're going to need is you're going to need, if you go up here to Window and find Pathfinder. Pathfinder is another thing I use a lot. So these are my extra tools I just added to my screen here, okay? I'll just put Pathfinder a little closer. Okay, so I click off of there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this little cut out of here. So I'll take my pen again, and I'm just going to start like here, and go to there, and here, here, here. And I made a shape. Now, what I did here, let's just make this a color again. I'll just make this shape a color. I'm going to just click on it, and with my selection tool, and I'll just make it, let's just say blue for right now. So there's a blue shape. And then here is my yellow shape. Let's make that a shape yellow. I'm going to cut the blue out of the yellow. Okay? So in the meantime, I'm going to make this triangle, just move that triangle out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to grab these two things, and I'm going to go to Pathfinder right here. Right there, and click on this, and I just cut the blue triangle out of that. So I just made this shape. And obviously I can do the exact same thing with this triangle here. Now, if this is in the way, move that out of the way. And once again, I'm going to take my pen. I'm just going to go like this to draw a line through here. Okay, there I have a yellow shape. Let's make this another color just so I can see it, a green. I'm going to select the green and the yellow. I'm going to cut the yellow out of the green by going to Pathfinder right here and going boom, and there you go. Now, I could go through this whole thing step by step, but I think you get the basic idea of how you would do something like this, okay? Now, this shape right here, which looks like a flat surface, okay? Maybe what I do with that, this shape that looks like a flat surface, I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm just going to draw a little shape right there. If I could see through here, it'd be right there. And let's say I wanted it gray, like that color, and I want to get rid of the border. Just want to do that to it. Now, I could do this. If I click on this and then I right click, this comes up and it goes arrange and I go send to back. And now my little gray thing is behind that. And for the black one, that's really simple. I could just make a big box there. I'll just really quickly, I'm just going to draw a box like this. Doesn't even matter the shape because I'm going to place this behind. I'm going to make it black. I'll make the outline black too. It really doesn't matter. And I'm going to right click that. Right click. My right clicker's not working too good. There we go. I'm going to go arrange, send to back, and now the black is in the background. See how that works? So that's just basics. If I was constructing something like that and I wanted straight lines, I cut shapes out and I rearrange them. Okay, put them in order. And then once again, you know, I could easily change the color on this. Maybe I'm going to turn that to, I'm going to get rid of the, or turn the outline to here. And then I change this one to more of a gold. And then get rid of the outline or make the outline gold. There you go. And now we really have the start of a pretty good looking logo. Mine's off a little bit. I'd have to tweak it a bit. But you get the idea. Now, if I go to my layer up here, I didn't go to layer. And that bottom layer that has all the images on it, I'll just make it disappear. So it's invisible. So I just created a pretty slick looking logo pretty quickly. Now, obviously you could put textures on there and bricks and a lot of other things, but I just want to show you the basic stuff, okay? I'm going to go back to showing you a couple more things. All right, let's say that you wanted to do this one. Let's go to the bottom layer and I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to go to my bottom layer, unlock it, and I'm going to grab this picture I have again, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to do this G here. Now you might say, I can't see the G, it's underneath my pyramid. Well, my pyramid's on a different layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock that layer and make it invisible. So my pyramid's going to temporarily disappear. Now I'm going to make another layer. So I go down to here, hit the plus sign, I got a new layer. I'm going to call that, I don't know what to call it. I'll call it brown G, only because I don't know how else to identify it. And the brown G is now going to be on this layer. So now I would proceed to draw a G and cut it out of a box. Okay? Now, I'm going to do a really fast, sloppy version, but that's only because I want you to see how I'm doing it. Okay? So I'm going to click on the brown one. I'm going to lock. I click on the brown layer, so I'm on that one. I go lock my bottom layer. I put a lock on it, and I clicked on the brown layer, so I can't disturb that now. Okay? Now, I'm going to zoom in here. This time, I'm going to take my pen, and I'm going to draw this outside box first, right here. Now, obviously, when I drew my outside box before, it wasn't that perfect. Like so, okay? Now, that's going to be the box I'm going to cut my G out of. So for right now, I could just leave that G right there. I could leave this box here, or maybe I just grab it and move it out of the way temporarily. Now I'm going to draw this G. Now that's where the pencil tool comes in. Over here is your pencil tool. Now I'm at home and I don't have the pens that you guys have. So I have to use my mouse, which isn't as good. So I'm just going to kind of hand draw this G. And you'll be able to do that with your pencil tool. I'm using a mouse, so my G is going to kind of suck. So I hand drew the G. Now, notice my G is pretty smooth, but I can smooth it out some more. So what I'm gonna do here is if you go over here to the pencil menu, there's something next to it. Looks like a pencil that's got something wrapped around it. That's called the smooth tool. And what I'm gonna do with the smooth tool is first I take my direct selection tool and I click on that line if it hadn't already been clicked on, right there, okay? Now I take my smooth tool and I can run my smooth tool right along the edge of the line. I'm gonna zoom in here. If I run it along the edge of the line, it smooths that curve out. Isn't that cool? So it's not perfect, but I can get it way smoother than I can hand draw it. Okay? Not too bad. Now, I've got my G, and let's take the G and just make it a color for now so I can see it a little bit better. So I'm gonna temporarily make it, let's say green. Okay, it doesn't matter what color the outline is. I'm gonna go back and grab this thing, and since I did it first, it's underneath the G. Okay, now I'm gonna select both of those. I'm gonna go back to Pathfinder. Right here, I'm gonna do the top one cut out of the bottom one. There you go. And I just created a logo where one letter is cut out of another one, and I can make that any color I want. If I wanna go back to making it brown like my original, I could do it brown. I could give it a brown outline. There you go. I think that's a little boring. And I don't need to see this anymore, so I'm gonna make my bottom layer invisible. There's my G. Now I wanna give it a little drop shadow. So I'm gonna go edit copy, edit paste in back. Now right behind it is an exact copy. I'm gonna make the one in back black. And I'm gonna take my arrows on my computer keyboard way down here, and I'm gonna hit my arrow keys. Right now I'm hitting the down arrow, and you're gonna witness this little black thing kind of moving. I guess I'm witnessing, there it is. Okay, so it's got a little bit of a drop shadow there. Not perfect, but you get the idea of how I was doing it. I probably moved it a little too much. I only want a little bit of a shadow like that. So I've created this logo now. It's cut out of paper and has a shadow on it, okay? Now, so that's two things. How to construct a logo, how to cut a logo out of another shape. Next, let me just show you the real quick version of an Under Armour logo. I'm just gonna create it. You saw what the Under Armour logo looked like. So I'm gonna make a new layer up here, and I'm gonna click on this little plus arrow down here, make my new layer. I'm gonna call that Under Armour. You might say, why is he doing Under Armour? Isn't that already been done? Yeah, it has been. But I'm just gonna show you if you were gonna make a logo that was similar to Under Armour, has the same sort of look to it. I'm gonna make my original drawing here of the drawing of something here. That's gonna be, I'm gonna make that invisible. Oh no, not Under Armour. Make the brown one invisible. I'm gonna lock the brown one. I'm gonna go on the Under Armour one. Okay, now, Under Armour, that's where I'm gonna use shapes. So real simple, I'm gonna go over here to my circle shape, and I'm gonna make the top, the bottom of an Under Armour thing, okay? I'm gonna take another shape. I'm gonna take a square. I'm gonna lay the square over the top. What do you think I'm gonna do now? You guessed it. I'm gonna grab them both. I'm gonna go to Pathfinder and cut the top one out of the bottom. Now I need to cut something out of here, okay? So there happens to be, in Under Armour, it's got kind of this shape here is a rectangle with curves. See how it's got curved edges here? I can grab these little edges and I can bring them in so they curve even more. Because the Under Armour logo has a really, it's kind of like that, okay? So what I'm gonna do right now, there's my top shape. Just so you can see it better, I'm gonna make it green. I'm gonna grab the corner. I'm gonna hold Shift down. That's not quite, but you get the idea. So it's not quite the Under. I'm gonna do that. If I wanna line this up perfectly, I can go show my rulers. Up here, go to View, go to Rulers, go Show Rulers, and I can grab a ruler and turn it into a guideline. If I grab the side ruler over here, I can drag it out here, and it turns into a little guideline. You can see it's a light blue line. Now, why would I want that? Because I can center my drawings on that line. So right now I can see this one is on the line, and the one on the bottom's on the line too, so I centered it by eye pretty well, okay? Now I'm gonna lock this, this thing. I'm gonna lock that. So what I did is I selected that line here. Then I go up here where it says select. No, I go to object, lock selection. So that is locked. Now I'm going to grab the two shapes. I'm going to cut the top one out of the bottom one. Pathfinder again. I'm going to grab that one. Okay, move that up to here. I'm going to go edit copy, edit paste. I have another one. Up here, I'm going to go to, you can turn it by turning the corners, or I could go to object, transform, rotate. I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees, making sure it says 180. There you go. I'm going to grab this and overlap on the other one. There you go. Okay. Now, if I want to join those two, if you want to permanently join them, remember Pathfinder again. Grab these, Pathfinder, go to this one in Pathfinder here, and join them. Now they're all one thing. And now in this logo, I can make that any color I want. I can make it a blue logo, and I can give it a black outline or a dark blue outline or whatever I want to do. And I've just created that Under Armour logo, and all I used was the Shape Maker and Pathfinder, okay? Now, the last logo that I'm going to show you, which is a little bit more tricky, so you're going to have to listen close. And once again, this is a video, so anytime you want, you can rewatch this video and just speed it up to the part you want to see and slow it down, and you can watch the instructions, okay? So next, I'm going to make one more logo over here. And I'm going to make the bottom one visible again. And this time, I'm going to do something like this G here. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit since I have so many things on my screen. And here is my G. Okay, I saved that from before. Matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff. I'm going to click on, wait, I got to go back to that layer and unlock it. And there's a lot of things on my layer. I'm going to get rid of this one, delete. And I'm going to get rid of the Under Armour thing, delete. I'm going to get rid of that. I'll leave it there for now. I'm going to bring this G over to here. I want to make something like that loopy G. Okay? And I'm going to make Under Armour invisible. And I'm going to lock Under Armour. And I'm going to get a new folder down here. Or a new layer. I'm going to double click on that layer. And I'm going to call this Curvy G. Okay? Curvy G. I'm going to go a Curvy G and lock the bottom layer. So Curvy G is the only layer I can be on now. Now there's my Curvy G. And this G has got real smooth lines on here. This is where your pen is going to work way better than my my mouse that I'm using. So now I go back to my pencil tool right here. Pencil. And I'm going to try to draw these loops. So I'm going to go like this. And try to draw this outside line here. Okay? I can barely see that line. That's because I don't have any color. I'm going to make it pink. I'm going to make it fatter. Go to Properties. Make the stroke fatter. You can see a fat pink line. Okay? Now, once again, you're going to make this in parts. I'm just making part of it right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my direct select tool and click on that line. I'm going to take my smooth tool, which is right over here. And I'm going to smooth out that curve because I drew it by hand and it's pretty sloppy. So you'll be able to do better, much better with the pen that you're provided in the class. Okay? So I'm curving this and smoothing my curves out so it looks a little smoother. Okay, now, I drew the outside of that line. I'm off a little bit, but you get the idea. Now I'm going to draw this inside curve here. So I'm going to take my pen again, my pencil, I mean, and I'm going to draw this curve. And it brings right up to there, and I'll just end it there. So I got another curve. Oh, I made a mistake. This is what I need to do. My first line, click it, and go Object, Lock, Selection. Okay, because if I don't, when I draw my new line, it thinks I want to change the line. So I'm going to draw my new line now. So watch, I'm going to start right here. And once again, you'll be using a pen, so it's going to look way better than the one on my demonstration here. There's my new line. And once again, I get the direct select tool, click on the line. I'm going to take my smooth tool right there, and I'm going to smooth that. Okay, it's pretty smooth. Okay, now this is the deal. I want to turn these lines into shapes. Okay, so how am I going to do that? Well, let's go back, and I'm going to make this G is distracting to me right now. So I'm going to make my G invisible. I'm going to go to that layer up here. I'm going to make the original G invisible so it's gone. Now these I'm going to turn into black lines. So I'm just going to collect these. I'm going to go object unlock, because remember I locked that one. I'm going to unlock those. I'm going to make them all black lines. Okay. Now this is the part that's a little complicated. I am going to, let's see, I'm going to make the lines just a little thicker for just to start. I'll make them a little bit thicker. Go to properties, go to stroke, a little bit of thicker line. Okay, now I'm going to grab both of them. This is the part that's a little bit complicated. I'm going to go to object, path, outline stroke. What it does, this will put an outline on either side of your stroke. So it's no longer a line, it's like a skinny shape. Okay? Now once it's a skinny shape, I can grab them both and I can go to Pathfinder again and join them both. Okay? Now it's a shape. Now you might say, how do I fill this in? Well, what you can easily do is just draw another little shape inside here and make it black and place it behind there. And then you can play, then you can here, I'll just do a real quick version once here. So I'm going to take my pen. Let's just do it up here. So I'm going to take my pen, and you'll be doing this with your pen, so you'll do a better job than I'm doing right now. Okay? And that is a black shape. I filled it in black. I'm going to give it a black stroke. And, nope, black stroke. There you go. Now that shape's inside there. Obviously, there's some spaces I want to take care of. But let's say I grab that, and then I grab my original shape here, and I go to Pathfinder. Oh, let's grab the whole thing. I'm going to go to this, grab the whole thing, go to Pathfinder, and now it's all one shape. Solid black. So obviously I do that down here. So that's how you're making cursive letters. And last thing, let's say on my original drawing, if you take a look at my layers, my original drawing shows that my G's got color in it. Okay? Well, how would I do that? I would just go, I'm going to make, undo the color for temporary. I'm just going to undo this, okay? And easily, you could just draw any shape, like here. Okay? And I could make that a color. The inside of it a color, let's say yellow. Okay? And then if I click on it with my direct select tool right here, click on that with my direct select tool, right click, and go arrange, send to back, and there you go. Got that? So there's a lot more I could show you, but right now the main thing I wanted to show you is you got to add some things to your toolbar. You got to add this, which is your smooth tool. You got to add your plus and minus arrow, and I'll show you what that is at another video, okay? You're going to bring up the shape menu. You're going to bring up the Pathfinder menu, okay? You're going to use properties or go to layers and make multiple layers to put your logos on different layers. And that way you're not interfering with your original layer, which was right here. Got that? So when you're done, you're going to have multiple logos here. I'll just make them invisible again. There's my G. There's that one. There's that one. So I got 4 logos here that I'm building right on top of that sheet of paper. And obviously, if I wanted to arrange those, I could move them so they're all separately on the sheet of paper. Got that? That's it for now.